Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, my Jeep's got 98,000 miles on it, 97,000, somewhere in there. And it's a 3.6 liter Chrysler engine. And the Pentastar is notorious for eating the top end of itself after a while and all that kind of good stuff there. So I knew that I needed to do something responsible, and I needed to get something because I really do love my Jeep and I want to keep it for a very long time. I need to do something responsible. I need to get a car with a warranty. I need to get something that's going to be low to cost to maintain. I need to get something that gets good fuel mileage because the Jeep's just terrible. And after this road trip that we took in the EV6 Kia, that really got me thinking a lot. And I really liked the Kia. And that would work well in my life. And looked around, the price wasn't bad, the payments wouldn't be bad. Whole lot of things on that car just ticked all the boxes. And man, having a warranty and all that kind of stuff, that just really was attractive to me. And so I did none of that. I did possibly the dumbest thing you could possibly think of doing, and I did it for all the right reasons. So we're going to flip the camera and I'm going to show you what we did. We bought a 59 Studebaker Silverhawk. And if you don't know what a Studebaker Silverhawk is, well, that probably means you're a lot younger than being born in the 60s. And this car is 10 years older than I am. It's running towards the end of it was built the year after Packard went away completely. It was kind of a strange year for the Silverhawk. Only one engine was offered for the American cars. I guess some exports got the V6 or the inline six. And then the next year, they changed the motor on them completely and just started calling it the Hawk instead of the Silverhawk. So why did I buy this car? Let's get back to the basics as to why I bought it. When I started looking at different stuff, I really had started to fall for mid-60s Thunderbirds specifically, and really looked at those. You can hear that in the background. I'm at a car show. Mid-60s Thunderbirds. And I really like a stupid song got me thinking about Thunderbirds. It's Mark Cohen's song called Silver Thunderbird. And some of the words of it that always cracked me up was, if there's a God up in heaven, he drives a silver Thunderbird. And so I got looking at those and I really liked them. And the price was just either too low or too high, quite frankly. And so I started looking around, and while we were on vacation, I found a Studebaker Hawk in Nashville, and I thought, dang, I wasn't even looking for one of those. I had a Studebaker when I was a kid. And the reason I'm into cars was because of a crazy man who had a thing for Studebakers. In particular, he had a thing for a 63 Studebaker Lark. And that 63 Lark, it never made it to what he wanted it to be. Dad got hurt. Dad went through some rough times. And it was his mom's car. It was the last thing he had of his mom, and he never got to see it finished. Instead, for his kid, an ungrateful 15-year-old at the time who didn't understand, he took the perfectly restored interior on that car and redid his kid's car and gave up on his dream. So going back to a Studebaker seemed like a cool thing to do for a dude that's in his 90s, and he just doesn't have much anymore. He's just like a lot of people in their 90s. He's just hanging out, kind of waiting. And I'm hoping that this will give him some reason to go enjoy some time. So I bought this car for my dad and I. And yeah, that makes me a little emotional. But I think a lot of us, when we look at why we're car guys, be it girls, guys, or otherwise, Makes you a little emotional when you think about it. So the 64 Studebaker that I stumbled on in Nashville, I did the right thing there for once in my life and didn't buy it sight unseen. I actually found a guy to go check it out for me. And he went and looked at it for me and said it wasn't the car. It needed a lot more work than it was going to be worth. So he sent me this one on Facebook that I had seen, but it was too much money. I couldn't afford this car. And I said to him, it was out of the budget, you know, that kind of stuff there. And so he says, well, call the guy, talk to him, see what he'll sell it for. And so I did, because this guy had convinced me that this was probably the best car I was going to find. And he's not wrong. It was turned out the best car I could find. So I called the guy, talked to him. Life was good. And then I told him why I was buying the car. I was real honest with him. I wanted it for my YouTube channel for DIY stuff, and there's plenty of DIY stuff. And I also was buying it for my dad, so I could take my dad out on Sunday drives out into the middle of nowhere and maybe let the old guy drive the car if he was up for it, you know? And well, then this guy, he was like, well, shoot, now I got to make you a deal on it. And so he did. He made me a heck of a deal on it. And special thanks to him for sure on that, because he helped make it possible. So I appreciate that. I had the guy from Nashville. He was going to Kentucky. That's a Cessna, if you can hear that. He was going to Kentucky for Thanksgiving. And he says, yeah, I'll go check it out for you. And so I paid him a little bit of money to go check it out for me. He did so. And he called me that day and said, buy it, essentially. I mean, we had a little more contact, but it was essentially, you need to buy this. This is the best one you're going to find. And so I did. And I found a great transporter. I was just thrilled. They picked that up on a Wednesday. It was at my house on a Thursday. Real good people. I got a video on that I'll throw in somewhere along the way. And so here it is. Here is my 1959 Silverhawk in all its glory. We believe the car to be an original 48,000 mile car. It's been repainted, and it's somebody painted it in their barn, you know, but that's okay. But gosh darn it, being an original car, now I'm a caretaker of it more than anything until it finds its next caretaker, and I can't modify it. I had plans. I had bucket seat plans. Nope, now that's not happening. So let's take a look around the car. I'm going to disconnect from the tripod here. It'll take a couple minutes. We'll be right back, and we'll take a look around the car. All right, so we're back, and I've got the old girl opened up a little bit here. I'm just going to kind of come in closer and take a quick walk around and just let you see what she looks like here. Now, this video probably won't hit overall YouTube for a couple of weeks after Christmas, but I'm showing this car to my dad on Christmas morning. He doesn't know anything about it. Well, by now in the video, he knows about it because I've showed him the video. But this is a cool old car. So one of the things right off the bat that's a trip, this tire, it's the original Firestone from 1959. I don't know that the light will allow me to get it, but on the tire it says like gum dipped, and it's got the original bumper jack in it and everything. Big wide white. We put the tires on this thing. I put tires on it shortly after I bought it. Look at those gorgeous wings. Just wings for miles. I put tires on it, and we had to look up the old date codes. The guys at the tire store and I were trying to figure it out, and we think the tires were from 1980. So that's pretty shocking. So what I've got plenty of plans for little things that we need to do to it. Those will be over on my other channel, Ramblings of a Florida Man. But I'm just showing you the car for now, and then we'll show it driving a little bit later. I think we're going to wait until we can take Pops for a drive, but we'll show you some cool things about the car. I wrapped the steering wheel. It didn't come like that. But if you look at that giant box down there, that's factory air conditioning. Even says Packard Studebaker on it. The interior, not perfect, but it's original. If you know much about old car interiors, please comment. Give me some thoughts. I want to figure out how to preserve this. The back seat's out. I've been playing a little bit with that, trying to clean it up, but I really want to preserve this and not do much to it. One of the cool things now, if you get looking, if you're not familiar with Studebakers at all, and you start looking up the car, you need to look up Silverhawk and Golden Hawk. The Golden Hawk will be a full-on hardtop, where this one's considered a coupe. That pillar, right? See if I can get my finger to work right there. Okay, that's what makes this car a coupe. The hardtop version, all that was just glass, which, yeah, that would have been cool, but you pay real money for that. And the Golden Hawks also had a different engine and stuff in them too. If you look down here, that is a vent that I kicked open. You can pop that open with your foot and let fresh air into the car. And then here's the engine. This is a 259 Studebaker V8. Needs a lot of cleaning and stuff like that, but 259 Studebaker V8. And like I said, we believe it to be mostly original. It's insane. And the condition of the car overall is just really great. So anyway, that's the car as it is right now. Quick little tidbit of trivia here. This caboose you see in the background, it was built in 11 of 69, which I think is pretty cool because I was born in an 11 of 69. The car is 10 years older than me or that caboose. Kind of weird. So the hood weighs 400 pounds. We're going to put that down. Then we're going to take it for a drive. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy your day. I would say Merry Christmas, but by now, for most of y'all, we're past Merry Christmas. So I hope you had a Merry Christmas. We may even be past New Year's. I don't know. Hope you had a good New Year's. If not, I hope you have a great New Year. Go do something nice for people. Have a great day.